I think for many decades it will dramatically reduce the capital formation process, and that's a negative. I understand why. I mean, if you think of the two big blocks of regulation that impact capital formation, it's Basel III and it's Solvency II. On one level, perfectly sensible, should have been done 25 years ago, wasn't, okay, fine, we are where we are. On another level, it's like fiscal austerity. Again, it's perfectly sensible, but if you do too much too soon, you kind of create a different problem, which is particularly important for real estate because it's such a pro-cyclical sector, which is the whole thing implodes. And so I think the regulators behave a little bit like parents with children. So as a parent, you get angry with your misbehaving child because actually it's a reflection on you as a parent and your bad parenting skills. So you viscerally react and get angry. And I think there's an element of that with regulators, that they've not done a great job regulating. They see the children misbehaving, so they're now screaming and shouting at the children. And so there is a very, to me, the regulatory movement is entirely predictable. It's absolutely unstoppable. We can argue and maybe get something at the margin, but this train left the station a long time ago, and we are kidding ourselves if we think we can do an awful lot about it. It's a visceral, social, political movement, and it's not going to stop for many years. And I think the capital formation process will be badly damaged as a result because it's too much too soon and all that good stuff. The flip side on that is that, if those two big capital formation bits of regulation sort out the way capital is allocated in a more efficient basis, quite frankly, you don't need AIFMD. Right. I wish the investors would empower themselves to be a hell of a lot more Darwinian with their investment managers. And if you go and do your due diligence and they don't do a stress test on the fund model, fire them or don't give them your money. If they don't have a sensible way of articulating how they're going to report things to you, whether it's derivatives or fair market or NAVs or whatever, don't do business with them. You really don't need 400 pages of legislation to tell you whether a fund manager is any good at what they do or not. So if you can figure out the big things, which is about how capital formation works, and you don't get this systemic issue brewing either in the insurance or the pension fund industry or in the banking sector, there ought to be a much more of a market clearing exercise. But I think what AIFMD is saying, it's the parents saying to the children, we're not happy with how you've managed these investment managers, so we're going to tell you how to do it. And I think that's where you begin to get into a very, and this is European, I come from the UK, FSA, principle-based concepts, be nice, treat your clients fairly, do things with integrity, and that's about as far as it goes. The EU is a very different landscape, and this is why I think the fund managers haven't quite woken up to this yet, particularly in London. It's highly prescriptive. It's 7 a.m., you will do the following, and the operational changes that are required to go from an FSA framework to an EU AIFMD framework are extraordinarily different. And we started this in October of last year. We got KPMG, we got KPMG in. And they have this, amazing system where you put all of your sort of processes into their machine. It was a 4-hour process, and out pops, look, here are the 76 things you're going to have to think about for AIFMD. Amazing tool. But we started that 6-9 months ago, and we're still only 2/3 of the way processing it. So if people start doing it now, I have no idea how they're going to cope. So, big picture regulation, I get it. I think it's too fast, too much, too soon. Micro regulation, I think, it's unnecessary if the investors actually do their jobs.